G'day everyone. You guys don't hear much out of me anymore, do you? Or see much out of me? Look, social media is an interesting thing. I really only have social media because of the podcast, and look, it's good to catch up and with some old friends, and there's some research on there that I do. However, I honestly think it's part of the issue, and I've sort of been running some experiments of late as to what difference does it make to the downloads of the podcast, and the reality is not much. And I think, like a lot of us who held the line, a lot of us who remained objective, we've had very interesting, the last 6 months has been very fascinating. The cognitive dissonance that we've had to observe is quite staggering. And I got to a point where I had to write something, and no one has heard this, no one has read this until now. I've mentioned it a couple of times on the show. However, I wanted to share it all with you so I can get it out of my head. It's called Never Forget. As I walk around today, looking at the people I see, I can't help but wonder who, if instructed, would have hung me from a tree. I know that is harsh. Don't pretend it's not true. A mere 12 months ago, on which side were you? For those who never complied, it's not easy, you see, to just go back to normal, knowing only months ago we weren't free. It's kind of ironic, because we're free now. It's because we never backed down, and we were never going to. No way, no how. So back into the world we go, divided yet one, because we all survived with a lot of harm done. The cognitive dissonance is a sight to behold, something that can only be experienced because we didn't fold. However, the damage is done, of that you can be sure. Can someone please explain what the camps were built for? How can we ever again trust any world leader we see when their deals with the devil took away our ability to be free? The police raised their guns against the people they swore to protect, people's daughters and sons. What resistance they met. Why did we resist? For us it was easy to see. Early on we smelled the bullshit coming from the TV. Understand all it took was a little critical thinking, stepping away from the fear to see the numbers weren't linking. The iris Sauron was set upon us. What a psychological operation we had to endure. What an evil manifestation of humanity we saw. They threw everything at us, mocked us, shamed us, locked us out of society, all because we wanted personal choice, a basic right of being free. We didn't want to participate in an experiment on people. Why did that cause hate when it should have made you question? With the catch cry, get vaccinated and then you'll be free. Of course, don't forget, it's for your safety. We asked a simple question. Has this been tested? It's safe and effective, we were told. Question it and you'll be arrested. You can't question science, even though that's how it's done. Just get vaccinated, they cried, together as one. With each passing week, they tried to tighten the noose. Unfortunately, that meant many had no choice to choose. Despite us being locked away, the plague rats, the unclean, the virus still spread. Not so safe and effective, it seemed. At the same time, it's all coincidence, you see. People were falling down dead. It's still safe, but now you need 3. People drop dead all the time, they said, although we'd never seen it before. People seem to be very hurt, we said. You're being crazy, and also, now you need 4. As the cases rose and the protests grew, some things became obvious, more than a few. The plague rats weren't dying. In fact, we were fine. We looked after each other as myocarditis began to climb. Now be honest with me, and I'll be honest with you. We didn't know what myocarditis was until after shot number 2. The cases rose by the hundreds, despite us being locked away. Remember, we shut the world down for 10. Still we couldn't work, couldn't play. But why so many cases when it was safe and effective? They still tried to blame us when it was clearly defective. How could I forget about the passports? You know, papers please. You can't go anywhere without them. And if you forget, on your knees. We also need to track you. Tell us where you've been. Give us access to your phone. We can see you through the screen. As this went on, it became obvious, very easy to see. The narrative was crumbling. We all deserved to be free. So they set the date to release us from our cages. Because a virus can tell the time, a first throughout the ages. We can't leave this story without the masks. To protect us in confined spaces, we've enforced them on children who could no longer see our faces. Do they offer some protection? Proper PPE? Surely so. But the bedazzled ones from Marketplace, we weren't allowed to question. Can you believe now there was a time when you've been marched away in handcuffs for allowing yourself to breathe the air? In public, there were standoffs. Magically now, it all doesn't matter. Even though the cases are still on the rise, you still see a few here and there with the fear in their eyes. So now we're in a strange place where we think that we are free, yet emergency powers are still in place. Just take a look, you'll see. When the narrative began to fall, they distracted us with war. For those still thinking clearly, it reminded us of Orwell's 1984. They changed the meaning of our words now. How did it come to this? So many things are now wrong speak. How in 2022 do we not know what a woman is? If you can't see these things are wrong, I don't know what to tell you. Divide and conquer is an old song to make you question what is true. This poem has to end, but it is definitely not over. That much is true. What does the future hold for our kids, for me, for you? Yes, the dark is rising, and a light must rise to meet it. Inwards we must all go to question whether we have the will to beat it. For only together will we win, standing as one against it. However, it will mean letting go of all the stupid bullshit. We all know inside ourselves what is right and what is wrong. They've just been feeding us distractions for oh so very long. These things are easier said than done, that I understand. Just imagine though if we stood as one, all across the land. What could we achieve if we let go of sex, colour and creed? Imagine the world we could build. We've always had more than we need. I know this seems like a pipe dream. That much is true. But we must realise love is the answer for our kids, for me, for you. Surely it's worth trying. To those that hung around to the end, thank you. To those that have supported my work thus far, thank you. There's not much more to say. Listen to it again maybe. Thanks very much. Cheers.